Right, so I'm going to add this onto my other video. We're installing the tracker. So while I've got the battery out and while I was stripping it down ready for the Bluetooth thing, which obviously hasn't come yet because it's a Sunday, I've had to put this back in the battery so I can find out how to install the tracker and where I'm going to tap it in and whatnot. So the third fuse there is your auxiliary. Boom, there you go, 10 amp. Okay, I've removed it. The positive is on the green side, so I'm assuming that might be the same for all the fuses. So if you pull this out, there's a little press button switch here, so you can actually remove it. I've actually undone the two screws that hold all this in. That's located just in front of the battery down here. So this bracket has two screws. Star T Torx 20s, and they're down there. And they're sort of screwed in this way, so the battery does have to be removed to get to them. So I've done that, but then I've found I've got to put the battery in to find the which one the positive is. So all I've done is used a simple technique. Where is it? Here. So I've just used a bulb, an old indicator bulb, positive, negative. It's usually quite explanatory. The black usually is the negative. Okay, so I found this bolt down here is a functional earth, so we can use that as the earth. That little Allen key down there, because this is all metal. All this part of the frame is metal, and that bolts into it. And I've tried it, and it does work. That is a negative, or an earth rather. Right, and the positive side of the fuse board, like I say, is this side. So that's your positive right there for your auxiliary. But okay, so you see the yellow and the brown white dot? They're both your auxiliary. But the yellow is the positive in, and the brown and white is the positive out. That's the one we're interested in, okay? So your red wire from your tracker is going to go to that brown wire. Okay, and this is a permanent live as well. So whether the ignition's on, off, it don't matter. This will function as a permanent live. But this is for the sake of having it fused. We're going to tap on the auxiliary. Okay, so that brown and white one, third one in, it's next to the yellow. That brown and white one's on that we're going to be tapping our red onto. Permanent live, and that will be 10 amp then. So this 10 amp will be 10 amp auxiliary, which it might be for the, I don't think it is for that USB at the back, this USB port. There might be some other auxiliary port on this somewhere that I'm not finding yet. I've only had the bike a day. But anyway, red from the tracker to the brown and white underneath here. Best way to do this is put a piece of metal or some plastic or something underneath there. Metal's better, just so you don't scorch any of the other wires. And then what I do is I get the soldering iron, if I can zoom in. So what I tend to do is isolate that wire with a bit of metal or something behind it, a bit of plate or something, and then use the soldering iron to melt away the insulation. So we're not cutting wires here, we melt away the insulation, and then we solder the new wire to it, the red from the tracker to that, and that's it. And then we can put that all back, and then we're going to use this one for our black, this Allen key. So we'll probably put a little connector on the wire, like an O connector, like they're like washers, aren't they? We'll probably put something like that on to connect our ground to that our black. And then there's only 3 wires on the tracker that they tell you to be interested in. Okay, so black earth, red positive. Yellow is an ignition wire, but you can use the yellow on the that's your brake light live. Not your brake light, your tail light live is that yellow one there. So that's a permanent, when your ignition on, that yellow is permanent when the ignition's on. And all this yellow is to tell the unit that the bike is running. That's all it does. Has no other function. It just tells you that the bike is, you can connect, you don't even need to connect any of them up. You can just connect them up and it'll work, okay? But that yellow one, if you want the function of knowing if it goes missing, they've got it running or not, that's what that yellow one will do for you. And just, it's a simple thing really, just tapping it into that. Again, just melting away some of the insulation and then tapping the yellow onto that, hard soldering it on, and then wrapping it with some insulation tape. And then that will give us the functionality of knowing if the bike, if they've got it started or not. Because no matter how you get this bike started, it's going to have to be some way of overriding the ignition key barrel, which means that the lights will come on with it, so it will work. The grey wire, if you're interested, if you're not, you don't need to take note of this, but that grey one should be for like fuel cut-off, so a fuel pump, anything like that. And the white one is, some alarms will have a white wire, and this white wire goes to the alarm wire, and all that does is the white one, when your alarm goes off, it tells the tracker that the alarm's going off. So the tracker should page you or notify you your alarm's going off, you know what I mean? But I don't think TrueTrack offer that facility on these, because when you buy these, they tell you just put the red and black on. That's what they tell you to do. And they tell you not to bother with any of these three. But, you know, they should work. They should work. But I couldn't tell you because it's something that TrueTrack have to do through their app. But the yellow one will tell you if it's running, like say with using a light or something, like what I'm going to be doing, the tail light. The grey, so you're supposed to have a functionality on a tracker where you can actually shut down the fuel to the bike remotely. And that's what that grey one's supposed to do. So it normally goes to a fuel pump, so you can just go on the app and shut the bike down if they get it started. You know what I mean? But again, don't know if that'll work because I don't know what TrueTrack offer with their packages. But coincidentally as well, this tracker that I haven't bought this one before. This is a commercial one, so I don't know what the difference is. You can ring up and I think they charge you £45 plus VAT to install it. You know, and there's a little QR there, so you can pay them to do it. But it's a simple enough job, to be fair. It is simply a case of just popping that out. Like I say, I'm going to have to remove the battery again. I only put the battery in so I could do a test on here to find out which wire it was, so you don't need to do it. But that's it. That little brown wire, positive. That's going to be my earth, and that's going to be our yellow ignition wire to tell us if the bike's running or not. And that's it.